Rewriting your story, the power of triumph over adversity. Have you ever felt like your past was a life sentence? Like the hardest chapters of your story were destined to be the only ones that mattered? I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Eboni Moen, whose insights on resilience and transformation left me profoundly moved. Ebony isn't just a thought leader, she's a soul healer whose work has touched thousands of lives across continents. Her ability to help people transmute their deepest wounds into their greatest wisdom is nothing short of alchemical. What struck me most about our conversation was her unwavering belief that our darkest moments don't define us, they refine us. The truth is, we all carry wounds, some visible, many invisible. But what if those very wounds could become portals to our greatest purpose? Think about it for a moment. When was the last time you looked at your scars, emotional or otherwise, and saw them not as evidence of damage, but as proof of healing? I know. It sounds like one of those inspirational quotes you scroll past on Instagram while eating cereal in your pajamas at 11 p.m. But stay with me. Because this isn't about toxic positivity or glossing over pain. It's about something far more radical, reclaiming your power to write the next chapter. The stories I'm about to share with you, stories Eboni Moen helped illuminate, aren't fairy tales. They're real world testimonies of people who refuse to let their past dictate their future. People who, against staggering odds, chose to rewrite their stories. Consider Venice Quates. As the Black woman in Huntsville's tech scene, Venice didn't just face the usual entrepreneurial hurdles. She faced a landscape where almost no one looked like her. Imagine walking into networking events where you're not just the only woman, but the only person of color. Imagine pitching to investors who have unconscious biases about who looks like a tech founder. Imagine building a company without the generational wealth of connections that many of your competitors take for granted. The isolation alone would have deterred many. But Venice, she built Launch Tech into an Inc. 500 company. Not once, not twice, but three times. Let that sink in. Three times on the Inc. 500 list when less than 1% of Black owned businesses ever reach $1 million in revenue. That's not just beating the odds, that's shattering them, rebuilding them, and then shattering them again. When I asked Ebony about Venice's journey, she emphasized something profound. Venice understood that your network is your net worth. Instead of allowing isolation to become her narrative, Venice intentionally built connections, recruited top talent despite being the smallest player in the room, and pivoted during crises like the pandemic by responding to opportunities others missed. There was this moment during the pandemic when Venice received a random call that most would have ignored, but she answered it. And that call led to one of her company's biggest contracts. As Ebony put it, sometimes your breakthrough is disguised as an interruption. But here's what really gets me. After achieving success that most entrepreneurs only dream about, Venice turned around and created pathways for young girls to enter STEM fields. She funds scholarships, she mentors, she shows up. She transformed her triumph into a ladder for others to climb. That's the thing about rewriting your story. It's never just about you. Or take Reshma Saujani. After witnessing the stark gender disparity in computer science, Reshma could have simply noted the problem and moved on. After all, she had her own career to think about. Instead, she founded Girls Who Code. Now, if you're thinking this was an overnight success story, think again. Reshma faced early failures, programs that didn't gain traction, doors that remained firmly closed, criticism that would have sent many of us running for cover. But as Ebony pointed out during our conversation, Reshma chose bravery over perfectionism. That phrase stopped me in my tracks. Bravery over perfectionism. How many of us are waiting to be perfect before we're brave? How many dreams remain unrealized because we're afraid to fail publicly? Reshma's mantra became, if you fail, try again. She built programs emphasizing both technical skills and emotional intelligence, creating a movement that has served hundreds of thousands of girls across America. When Ebony shared this story with me, she noted something fascinating. Reshma didn't just teach girls to code, she taught them to fail forward. In a culture that often punishes women for failure more harshly than men, this lesson may be even more valuable than the technical skills. But perhaps the most striking example Ebony shared was Amber Murray's journey. As the founder of Fuel Flow, Amber became the first Black woman to lead an energy business in North California's notoriously male dominated sector. Coming from humble beginnings, Amber had heard countless times, people like us don't do things like this. Can you imagine being told repeatedly that your dreams aren't for people like you? Yet Amber refused to let external doubts dictate what was possible. She harnessed grit developed from earlier life challenges, sought mentorship, leveraged strategic partnerships, and prioritized financial literacy training. The result? Fuel Flow achieved profitability rapidly, and Amber became recognized regionally as an innovator, disrupting old paradigms. Her visibility has opened doors for other underrepresented professionals who now see that they too can claim space where none existed before. Ebony told me about a moment when Amber was negotiating a major contract and a potential client asked to speak to whoever was really in charge. Instead of shrinking, Amber simply smiled and said, "You're looking at her. She got the contract." These stories share a common thread that Ebony Moen emphasized throughout our interview. You are not defined by your past. You can triumph over anything, no matter what you've endured, trauma, depression, failure. You have the power to rewrite your story and succeed. Age is never a barrier. Whether you're 16 or 42, it's always possible to start again and thrive. But here's the part we often miss. None of these women rewrote their stories alone. Venice built networks, Reshma created communities, Amber sought mentorship. This brings me to the second crucial insight from my conversation with Ebony. Healing is possible and support is essential. The journey from pain to purpose requires both healing and community support. Seeking help, whether through therapy, spiritual wellness practices, or simply reaching out for guidance, can transform even the darkest moments into sources of strength. I love how Ebony put it. Your wounds become wisdom when you allow others to help you heal. Think about that. Your wounds become wisdom, not overnight, not without work, but with support, with community, with intention. Those very experiences that once threatened to break you can become the foundation of your greatest contributions. Which leads me to the third powerful truth Ebony shared. Your story has power. Use it to uplift others. By sharing your truth openly and authentically, you become a beacon of hope for others facing similar struggles. When you choose compassion over bitterness and service over silence, you create ripples of positive change in your community. I'm reminded of a powerful affirmation Ebony mentioned. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Let's pause on that for a moment. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. How would your life change if you truly believed that? If you woke up tomorrow and decided that your past experiences, however painful, were simply chapters, not the whole book. The women in these stories didn't deny their struggles. They didn't pretend the obstacles weren't real, but they refused to be defined by them. Venice didn't ignore the isolation. She built networks to overcome it. Reshma didn't pretend gender bias didn't exist. She created an organization to dismantle it. Amber didn't dismiss the voices saying, people like us don't do things like this. She proved them wrong. And here's where it gets personal. What's your story? What chapter are you currently writing? Maybe you're in what feels like the darkest part of your narrative. Maybe you're facing challenges that seem insurmountable. Maybe you've been told explicitly or implicitly that people like you don't get to have the ending you're dreaming of. I'm here to tell you, and Eboni Moen's insights confirm this, that you get to decide what happens next. You get to choose whether your past pain becomes a prison or a platform. You get to determine whether your wounds remain open or become wisdom that heals others. You get to write the next chapter. But, and this is crucial, you don't have to write it alone. So today, I challenge you to do three things. First, examine the story you've been telling yourself. Is it empowering you or limiting you? Is it based on truth or fear? Is it written in permanent ink? Or can you revise it? Second, reach out. Find your Venice, your Reshma, your Amber. Find the people who will see in you what you cannot yet see in yourself. And if you can't find them, become them for someone else. And third, share your truth. Not tomorrow when you've got it all figured out, not when your success is guaranteed. Now, in the messy middle, because your unfinished story might be exactly what someone else needs to find the courage to begin theirs. Remember what Eboni taught us. Your past does not define you unless you let it. Your wounds can become wisdom when you allow others to help you heal. Your story has power, immense power, to uplift others when you share it authentically. The world doesn't need more people who've never failed. The world needs more people who failed, gotten back up, and reached back to help others rise. The world doesn't need more perfect stories. It needs more true ones. The world doesn't need you to hide your scars. It needs you to show how you've healed. So take out your pen, turn to a fresh page, and start writing the next chapter of your story. Not as a victim of your past, but as the author of your future. Because the world is waiting for your triumph. The world is waiting for your healing. The world is waiting for your story. And it begins today.